Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so we're discussing the topics covered in Chapter 8 regarding our thoughts on organizational culture, what types of culture we have experienced, and then if we believe leaders are able to shape culture. Um, I think organizational culture plays a big role in molding how employees feel and how they uh, how they perform. Um, the One of the experiences that I have was a very negative experience. Um, the culture there was we had a lot of assumptions that weren't necessarily written, but just assumptions on the leaders, the project managers that if um, they didn't necessarily take lunches, they ate at their desk. The owner, it was a private company. The owner was very driven and very demanding. If you didn't work more than 40 hours a week, then it was assumed that you weren't committed to the job. So the owner anticipated or expected that you put in, 12 to 15-hour days. And so a lot of people were reluctant to leave what we considered a normal on-time hour. So if you left on time, basically you were leaving early, which that was the culture there. Um, and part of the symbols of that culture were in the language in our mission statements. Each department had their own mission statements, and a lot of it was driven as committed to excellence, that we would exceed the customer's expectations. So a lot of what we expected or what the owner expected from us was excellence. And so in order to achieve that, that's where the part came in where we were expected to do whatever it took to make that happen. And part of that was staying or working later than usual. So it was pretty miserable there. I only ended up lasting like 6 months there just because of the turmoil, and no one was happy. And so the culture there was very serious. No one really had a good time there just because of all the work that was going there. And as far as leaders being able to shape culture, as far as our culture was shaped by the CEO, so he was basically the top leader, and the way he wanted to run things was the way it was. So I definitely believe that leaders can influence both positive and negative in organizational culture.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I think the biggest thing with leaders, like in developing that culture, is kind of setting like the values for what you want your employees to like kind of buy into. You need to get your employees to believe that what they're working for is, we're doing it as a team. This is good. This is, you want to get people to buy into that kind of sense of like, of teamwork and all that. And I think that's a huge part because to work at a golf course and like I guess my technical boss, I didn't see him much. I didn't feel like I was really working for anyone or working for anything. And it wasn't much of a team. I had good close coworkers there, but it wasn't a team thing where everybody was working towards a common goal. And I think that kind of just weakened the whole system of working there. And I only ended up working there about a year, and it was just like I working towards anything there. So I decided to leave. Whereas now it's like my boss is doing things where, he could be in his office all day, but no, he's out like with us. He's working hard. He's making sure we're working hard. And there's just that sense of like teamwork that I think really helps an organization build a strong culture with each other.
Yeah, I think leaders definitely shape culture because, like you said, how if the leader is involved in teamwork, everybody else is going to be involved in teamwork. So leaders can shape the way that the culture by changing the way they think. In order to change the behavior, you have to change the way you think. And then the same goes for how they interact with each other and how they interact with their followers. You want to treat others the way you want to be treated, and that we've kind of always been taught that since like kindergarten. And then when you change the conversations, with your followers, it opens up more possibilities. So leaders definitely shape the way the cultures are in a company. And I used to work at Home Depot, and one of their organizational cultures was customer service is top priority. So they had this inverted pyramid. And instead of like the CEO being on top, it was customers are top priority. And then it went down to the employees, and then the field support, and then corporate support. And on the very bottom was the CEO. And just that itself really showed that they took pride in their customer service, and they took pride in, their company's values. So it was a good company to work for.
Yeah, I definitely agree that leaders shape culture. In the restaurant group that I work for currently, our culture is written down and it's engraved in us. And one of our bullet points for our culture is to love and support our staff. And that is like our top priority is our staff. That comes first. Their well-being, their happiness, because if they're not happy when they come to work, if they're not going to be able to perform and give that great customer service and smile at their tables and make everybody feel welcome into their house. If there's something wrong, it's not going to happen. It's all about taking care of our staff on their needs, making sure they're okay if something's going on, and giving them the time off to deal with certain situations, or take care of other things. And that's our top priority for our culture. And it's a really great environment. And I believe like leaders do shape that, because currently when 2 years ago, when we had one director, he was big on culture and our culture manual, and he embraced that culture and made sure that even the managers were taken care of. He would come to us, what do you need? What's going on? How is everything? How is the home? Do you need this time off to take care of that? And I think that was really important. It showed me that he did care. There were days where I needed to leave to pick up my daughter from daycare because she was sick, and he was like, "Don't worry about it. I got you. I'll come in. I'll cover you." And I think that's very important. And then on the other hand, when we had a new leader or director of operation recently, and it's on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's that when I had to leave to pick up my daughter, it's, why are you leaving early? Sending out emails to making sure that managers are working their 10 hours. So it's always the leaders that have that impact as to that culture, because if one leader is embodying it, another leader can come in and reform that whole culture just by not embodying that culture.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're talking about is the book talks about it in building a trusting climate, and specifically it talks about increasing the flow and quality of information. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned throughout my years, is that communication plays a vital role in building that organizational culture. Like you said, you have one manager that's allowing certain behaviors and working with employees and being promoting a good work environment. And then you have others that are doing the complete opposite. It kind of sets the wrong message as far as where's the breakdown in communication. So I think, when communication flows both ways, down the chain and up the chain, that's when organizations have the biggest chance of success, because everyone's on the same page. There's a lot more transparency, and there's not the sense of favoritism if someone's allowed to do something and versus another employee who's not. So I think that has a lot to do with shaping the culture around an organization.
Yeah, one of the things I thought was kind of interesting in the book, one of the symbols for organizational culture was dress and physical appearance. And I never really thought about that because most 8 to 5 jobs where you're sitting at a desk, you don't have a dress code as far as you're wearing what your coworkers are wearing exactly. Whereas me, it's I show up to work and I'm wearing the same uniform as everybody else. And I wonder if that's, that might play a strong role in like developing that that culture with each other and making it more of a we're all in the same playing field. No one's trying to outdo each other with anything. Just a sense of like equality kind of. And our managers are dressed very similar to that as well. So it's just keeping it like as we and not like employee versus manager, I guess. Yeah.
It's a good point. 'Cause at Home Depot, I'm sure you guys have been to Home Depot where you just wear that orange apron and you're wearing, normal clothes. And now that I think about it, our dress code there made it easier for customers to approach the employees, to ask them questions, because we're not dressed in suits and dresses, we're dressed like them. I think it definitely helps that culture because it makes us more approachable. And after all, their organizational culture was customer service. So the dress code definitely plays a really big part in that.
I'm going to play off of both Ramon and Andrew. Yes, your dress is important. It also helps build confidence. Say, if you are versus you at Home Depot when it's more relaxed in that environment, you are approachable. You are able to come off as somebody that you can talk to. Also in our field, in the corporate world, in our corporate office, you go in, everybody is dressed to the nines. It is all about the confidence that they have and that character, because when they are, the men are in suits and the women are dressed nicely, it shows that they're confident in their leadership and their abilities, especially when they come to corporate meetings. It is very, like, it exudes that way. As for building trust into the culture that Ramon was talking about, I think, yeah, showing a care of concern for your employees, like loving and supporting our staff in our culture, is very important to build that trust, because when the employees feel that they are taken care of, they trust you. They trust that you're going to take care of them no matter what, and they're going to be more loyal. They're going to work harder for you because they feel that trust with you.
I agree with you. I think good points on everyone. If anyone has anything else to add, we've reached our time, but we got about 2 minutes if we want to go longer. But I think we did a good job.
Yeah.